I've always loved the winter season. I love the clouds, the rain, and the cold air that touches my face and makes me feel refreshed. I had a routine of going for an early morning run before sunrise during this time. The streets would be empty, and the atmosphere would be calm and pristine. The day I am going to tell you about seemed no different, or so I thought. While getting ready, I tied my sneakers and put on warm clothes with a beanie on my head. The air was chilly and filled with fog. The streetlights that were on all night flickered unsteadily. Silence was all over the street as everyone was still asleep. I started jogging, only hearing the sound of my footsteps on the pavement and my breath coming out as steam. Empty streets, quiet homes, just me, the cold, and the fog. After about 10 minutes of running, I reached the park. While it is usually crowded during the day, at this time, it was almost deserted. I decided to run around it 3 times before heading home. However, halfway through the second lap, I started to feel strange. The air suddenly felt heavier, and I sensed I wasn't alone in the park. That made me look around, expecting to see someone, but every time I looked back, there was only fog. As I started the third lap, the feeling intensified. My heart began to race because I thought I heard footsteps behind me. I stopped and looked once more, but found no one. Just the trees moving gently with the breeze. I kept telling myself not to imagine things. I run here every day, and it's always empty. I decided to take a short break, sitting on one of the wooden benches in the park. A while later, I heard it, a sound, as if someone was stepping on dry leaves. Frightened, I looked around, raising my voice. Is anyone there? There was no response. I walked slowly, trying to focus and see anything, but visibility was really hard due to the dense fog. Suddenly, I heard a muffled laugh, cutting through the silence, sending shivers down my spine. I raised my voice again. Who's there? Still, no response. Then I saw her emerging from the fog, a tall woman with curly red hair falling over her face, wearing a white dress stained with blood. As she approached, I saw her face. Her eyes were wide like a monster's, red with mascara running down, as if she'd been crying for hours. I stood frozen, unable to breathe, while she looked up and laughed maniacally, sending shivers through my body. I glanced at her hands. She held something, a human finger, severed, with blood dripping, creating a red pool on the snow. The finger had a wedding ring, and that's when true fear gripped me. My body turned cold. I took a step back but stumbled and fell. She laughed that terrifying laugh again, throwing the finger in the air, saying, "It's over now. He doesn't have to hide from me anymore." Before I could even process what she said, I saw her eyes roll back as she collapsed, losing consciousness. I stayed frozen for moments, unable to move or think. My mind was scattered with a million thoughts. I grabbed my phone and called emergency services. The police arrived within minutes, restraining the woman in handcuffs and taking her away. Before they left, I asked them what this was all about. They said the woman, named Sophia, was an artist who killed her husband in his sleep after discovering his affair. She cut off one of his fingers and wandered the streets for days until I stumbled upon her. I later found out she was placed in a psychiatric hospital as she had completely lost her sanity after the incident. As for me, I never went for a run again after that day.